Many people recognize the twins who played Ray Romano's sons on Everybody Loves Raymond. Sawyer Sweden and his twin brother Sullivan were born in Texas before moving to California with their family when they were 6 months old. At 16 months, they began working with their older sister Madeline on Everybody Loves Raymond. Fame during childhood, like the kind Sweden experienced, doesn't have the best effect on a young person's development. Though it may seem that being a child star comes with certain freedoms, they're often constrained by work schedules people don't usually face until adulthood. In 2015, Sawyer Sweden took his own life over money problems, a failed showbiz career, and bullying over rumors of being gay. After her breakout role in the 1982 horror film Poltergeist, child actor Heather O'Rourke starred in its 2 sequels, Poltergeist 2: The Other Side and Poltergeist 3. In the first film, the angelic-looking O'Rourke played the role of Carol Ann Freeling, the youngest daughter in a family whose home is plagued by a supernatural apparition. Shortly after starting to shoot Poltergeist 3, Heather O'Rourke began to have serious health problems, including headaches, tremors in her legs, and swollen feet. And to make matters worse, she couldn't keep any food down. She was hospitalized 4 times and diagnosed with the flu. After her mother persisted, it was discovered that Heather had an intestinal parasite called Giardia. In January of 1988, O'Rourke collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. According to the Los Angeles Times, doctors found a long-standing bowel obstruction. An attempt to surgically remove the blockage led to septic shock, and she suffered cardiac arrest. O'Rourke passed away at just 12 years old. Although he had acted since age 5, Johnny Lewis's big break came at 16 years old when he appeared on Malcolm in the Middle and Seventh Heaven. He later had roles on hit shows like Smallville, The O.C., Drake and Josh, and Boston Public. Both before and after his well-known role on Sons of Anarchy, Lewis had destructive run-ins with the law, including residential burglary and assault and battery. In October 2011, Lewis was involved in a motorcycle crash and suffered head injuries. His behavior and mental capacity later worsened. He also is believed to have killed his 81-year-old landlady, Catherine Davis, and her cat. In 2012, Lewis entered rehab for drug abuse and seemed to improve. Upon release, he died from either falling or jumping off a roof. His death was ultimately ruled an accident. On the outside, Judith Bari seemed to have it all. At just 10 years old, she had snagged a number of film and TV roles, appearing in Cheers, Growing Pains, Jaws: The Revenge, and also lending her voice to animated movies like The Land Before Time. As Judith Bari's star burned brighter, her home life grew darker. Outside the glare of the spotlight, Judith and her mother, Maria, suffered abuse that was unbearable. Judith Bari died at the hands of her suicidal father in 1988. Along with her mother, the young actress was shot and killed before her dad turned the gun on himself. Judith and her mother were buried next to one another in unmarked graves. Years later, fans touched by Judith's story started a fundraiser to pay for headstones for both her and her mother's graves, which they accomplished in 2004. Child actor Brad Renfro made his big screen debut in the critically acclaimed 1994 thriller The Client, based on a John Grisham novel by the same name. In the film, 11-year-old Renfro plays the lead role of Mark Sway, a young boy who witnesses the suicide of a mob-connected lawyer. Renfro's well-received performance led to roles in other major motion pictures, including Tom and Huck, The Cure, Sleepers, and Apt Pupil. Things off-screen, however, were not as promising. Renfro had numerous run-ins with the law, which began in 1998, with his arrest for cocaine and marijuana. He was later arrested and sentenced to 2 years probation in 2000 for allegedly trying to steal a 45-foot yacht in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. On January 15, 2008, after a night out with friends, he was found not breathing in a Los Angeles apartment by his girlfriend. Renfro's death ended up being ruled an accident and was attributed to acute heroin-morphine intoxication. Dana Plato found fame as a child actor on the 1980s sitcom Different Strokes. Plato played Kimberly Drummond, the teenage daughter of a wealthy white widower who adopts 2 African-American brothers. Plato began abusing alcohol and Valium when she was only 14 years old. In 1984, the show dismissed Plato after she became pregnant, although she made several appearances in the final 1985-1986 season. But in the years following the birth of her son Tyler, she struggled to find other roles that would establish her as a serious actress. Before long, Plato was settling for B-movies and even adult films as a way to make money. In 1991, Plato hit rock bottom when police arrested her for a video store robbery, which earned her 5 years of probation and a stint in rehab. Plato never fully kicked her drug habit, and on May 8, 1999, her fiancé found Plato in their motorhome, dead from a drug overdose. As a promising young actor and musician, River Phoenix's breakout role came in 1986's Stand By Me. His well-received performance led to roles in major motion pictures, including The Mosquito Coast, A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, and Little Nikita. By the early 1990s, he had become a Hollywood star, although he also had a serious drug problem. At the time, his parents and 4 siblings were entirely dependent on River's success. Meanwhile, he also wanted to ensure that his younger siblings were able to get the education that he was never able to receive. Little did the world know how much pressure he was putting on himself. Sadly, in October of 1993, Phoenix collapsed outside of the LA nightclub, the Viper Room. He was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where doctors pronounced the 23-year-old dead from a drug overdose. Early in her career, Michelle Thomas became a mainstay on sitcom television. She first appeared as Justine Phillips on The Cosby Show, playing Theo Huxtable's girlfriend for 3 years. After that, Thomas had a few smaller roles, and also appeared in music videos for artists like Boyz II Men. Her first leading role came in 1993 as Myra Monkhouse in the TV series Family Matters. After years in the spotlight, doctors diagnosed her with a rare form of cancer in 1997. She had surgery to remove a lemon-sized tumor from her abdomen following the diagnosis. The actress seemed on the verge of recovery until a second cancerous growth ruptured in October of 1998, requiring her to undergo emergency surgery. She died 2 months later, surrounded by her childhood friends, her ex-boyfriend Malcolm Jamal Warner, and her close relatives. Sammy Kane Kraft was discovered on a baseball diamond in Los Angeles, where her family had moved from New York, so she and her brother could play baseball year-round. She secured the part of Amanda Wurlitzer in the 2005 remake of Bad News Bears, after throwing a 75-mile-per-hour fastball during a casting call in Encino. Only 13 years old when the film was released, Kraft portrayed the sole girl on a misfit baseball team coached by Billy Bob Thornton's character. On October 9, 2012, at 1:30 a.m., Kraft was riding in the passenger seat of a car when it rear-ended a semi-trailer, and was then struck by another car. The actress ended up dying in the car accident, and she was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Keep an eye out for Part 2 coming soon, and maybe even consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist, and then visit the channel to search the Recollection Road Library. As always, thank you so much for watching.